Hey guys, and welcome back to the Pathfinder lair. Today I'm doing another class album video, this time covering the class features of one of my favorite classes, the Druid. But before that, what is a Druid? For those of you who don't know, a Druid is a character based around nature. A Ranger is also based around nature, but they are built around hunting prey. Think of a Ranger as a hunter, and think of a Druid as a guardian of nature. While a Ranger is a purely martial class, a Druid is a spellcaster. This makes a Druid much harder to play than a Ranger. So what kind of things can a Druid do? Well, just to give you an overview before we get into the class features, all Druids can eventually turn into natural things such as animals, plants, elementals, and even dragons. They can also heal people, buff their party members, and even attack with elemental spells. Yes, Druids gain access to Fireball in this edition. And that's just what they can do with their spells. We're not even talking about feats yet. Yeah, Druids can do a lot. But let's dive into the class features, shall we? The first thing you need to know about Druids is their Anethema. What is an Anethema? Think of it as actions and activities that a Druid, or any other class with an Anethema, really doesn't want to do. For all Druids, this is using any kind of metal armor or shield, but they can still use metal weapons, despoiling natural places, and teaching Druidic, which is a special language that only Druids get, to non-Druids. Each Druid also gets another Anethema based on what Druid order they pick, which I will cover orders later in this video. If a Druid does anything that is Anethema enough, they will lose their Druid powers, including spellcasting, any benefits of their Druid order, including any feats that require that order. They can get them back with an atonement spell, but that takes a lot of work, and you aren't going to be able to do it right away. It is better just to avoid committing acts that are anathema. Now let's move on to the starting statistics for Druids. Druids are a wisdom-based spellcaster, so they get a class boost to wisdom. They also get 8 plus their constitution modifier for class hit points. They start off as trained in perception, fortitude, and reflex saves, as well as an expert in will saves. For skills, they're trained in nature, of course, as well as a skill based on their order, and a number of skills equal to 2 plus their intelligence modifier. Druids are also trained in simple weapons and unarmed attacks, and in unarmored defense as well as light and medium armor. But remember, they can't use metal armor or shields. They are also trained in primal spell attacks and difficulty classes. Druids cast spells from the primal list and are prepared spellcasters. That means they have their own list. Sorcerers and witches are the only other classes that have access to this list, and they have access to every list, and they have access to the entire list, assuming they're high enough level. However, this does not mean they can cast whatever they want when they want. They only have a certain amount of spells they can cast each day, and at the beginning of each day, they must decide which spells they want to use that day ahead of time. They have no way of knowing for sure what is going to happen that day, but they can prepare their normal spells each day, or if they know they're going to need a certain spell, they can prepare it that day. Cantrips are a special kind of spell that can be used as many times as the spellcaster wants. However, prepared spellcasters like Druids must choose which cantrips to prepare each day, and then they can cast those cantrips as much as they like. Now let's talk about Druid Orders. There are 4 Druid Orders that Druids can pick from. Each Druid only gets one of these, and once you make the choice, you are stuck with it unless you spend a full month retraining. The 4 Druid Orders are Animal, Leaf, Storm, and Wild. You pick one of these at first level and gain a feat and an order spell from it. I'll go over all the feats and order spells in detail in my next video. For now, I'll just tell you what they are and give you a basic idea of what they do. Animal Druids gain the Animal Companion Druid feat, which means they gain an animal that follows them around and follows their orders. They also gain the Heal Animal Order spell, which is exactly what it sounds like. You heal an animal. This can be your animal companion or any animal you want. You also become trained in the athletics skill. Add cruelty to animals or unnecessarily killing animals to your anathema. This does not prevent you from defending yourself against animals or killing them cleanly for food. Leaf Druids gain the Leshy Familiar feat, which means they gain a little sentient plant that gives the Druid certain abilities that can change each day, but it doesn't engage in combat. They become trained in diplomacy and gain the Goodberry Order spell. This allows the Leaf Druid to take some berries and put some magic in them so that they heal damage. Add cruelty to plants or killing plants unnecessarily to your Anethema. This does not prevent you from defending yourself against plants or harvesting them when necessary for survival. Storm Druids gain the Tempest Surge feat, which allows them to ignore certain penalties if they are caused by weather, such as fog. They also become trained in acrobatics and gain the Tempest Surge Order spell. This allows them to harness some of the lightning from the sky. Add polluting the air or allowing those who do so to go unpunished to your Anethema. This does not force you to take action against only potential harm to the environment or to sacrifice yourself against an obviously superior foe. And now for my favorite Druid Order, the Wild Druid. You gain the Wild Shape Druid feat, which gives you extra uses of spells that allow you to transform into other forms. But you can only use this to transform into forms for which you have the feats. You become trained in Intimidation and gain the Wild Morph Order spell, which allows you to take on aspects of other forms while keeping your humanoid shape. For example, you might grow claws and jaws, but the rest of your body remains the same. Add becoming fully domesticated by civilization to your Anethema. This does not prevent you from buying or using processed goods or staying in town for an adventure, but you can never come to rely on those conveniences or call such a place your permanent home. And remember that all druids can do something similar to all of these, but whatever order you pick determines what you are best at. Druids are one of only 3 classes that gain the shield block reaction, which allows you to reduce the damage you take with your shield, if you're wielding one, of course. I'll cover that in more detail in the next video. They also gain the Wild Empathy class feature. You can use diplomacy to make an impression on animals and make very simple requests of them. You could request that they attack a certain creature or run away or something like that, but you couldn't ask them to read something or actions that require higher intelligence. In most cases, wild animals will give you time to make your case. Also, at every odd-numbered level, you gain access to higher-level spell slots, and every level you get more spell slots to work with. This essentially just means that you gain access to more powerful spells and more spells per day at these levels. This is true of every spellcaster. Like most classes, at 2nd level and every 2 levels afterward, you gain a Druid class feat and a skill feat. At 3rd level, Druids become an expert in Perception and Fortitude saving throws. They also gain a general feat and a skill increase like most classes. At 5th level, Druids gain an Ancestry feat, as well as an increase to 4 ability scores like most classes do. They also become an expert in Reflex saves at that level. At 7th level, they become an expert in spell attack rolls and spell DCs. Essentially, they just become better at using spells. At 11th level, Druids become an expert in all weapons for which they were trained at level 1. They also become a master in will saves. Also, whenever they roll a success on a will save, they actually get a critical success instead. If you are 13th level and a druid, you become an expert in all armor that you were trained in at level 1. You also deal more damage with weapons that you are at least an expert in. This is 2 more damage if you're an expert, 3 if you're master, and 4 if you are legendary. At 15th level, druids become even better at spellcasting. They become a master in spell DCs and spell attack rolls. At 19th level, druids reach the pinnacle of spellcasting. They become legendary in spell attack rolls and DCs. And finally, at 20th level, druids gain a single 10th level spell slot. This can be used to prepare the most powerful of all druid spells. You don't gain any more spell slots of this level unless you take the Hierophant's Power feat, which I will cover in the next video. And that's going to wrap up this video. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe for more Pathfinder 2e content. You can also check out my Twitter feed or my Facebook page. You can also pledge to me on Patreon to gain access to exclusive perks. Links are in the description. If you want to see more of my Pathfinder 2nd Edition content, you can check out these videos. But before you do, make sure you check out the other content creators that are putting out content for Pathfinder 2e. They are in the description below as well. A special thanks to Black Dragon Gaming and No Nat Ones. You guys are great, and thanks for the endorsement. So until next time, let's play some Pathfinder.